Hello, everyone. I'm Amy Wang, and it is my pleasure to host this invited speaker session of the ACAS USA Global Youth Leadership Summer Camp. Today, we are honored to invite Dr. Shoyi Wang from the University of Texas at Arlington to give us a talk titled Unlocking the Brain: Advances, Challenges, and Future Potential of Neurotechnology. Dr. Wang's research focuses on data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, medical imaging, and brain informatics. His work uses advanced computational technologies to better understand the human brain and address important real-world challenges in healthcare and other fields. In this talk, he will introduce us to exciting developments in brain-computer interfaces, neuroprosthetics, and other emerging technologies that may shape the future of medicine and human-computer interaction. Let us welcome Dr. Shoyi Wang to give us the talk.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your invitation, and I'm very happy to be here to give a talk for the ACAES USA Youth Leadership Summer Camp. And today, we will talk about the technologies to unlock the brain. Let me begin with a small question. So, have you ever wondered how your brain allows you to move, speak, learn, or even play a video game? Scientists and engineers are developing neurotechnology that can record brain activity and use those signals to control computers or do the medical treatment and also control like medical devices. Today, we will look at those neurotechnologies and we look at the advances, challenges, and the future potential for the neurotechnology, and also how they may change the medicine and our lives in the future. So let's share my slides. Okay, so if everyone can see my slides clearly. Amy, if my slides looks clear there?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the beginning, I can give you a very brief introduction to my background. And I began the study for robotics and control systems when I back in my undergraduate study at Harbin Institute of Technology. And later on, I continued my robotics and then control system machine learning study in Delft University of Technology. And I did research on humanoid bipedal walking robot. And here is the robot I worked. And that's for my master thesis. That's in that robot, we try to use machine learning, reinforcement learning to make bipedal robot work more stably and robust on uneven surface. And that robot is trying to achieve the natural walking. And later on, I came to US for my PhD studies, and I started at Rutgers University, and that's the beginning. I started the brain data research, and I started the EEG-based brain-computer interface study, and I studied the brain signal analysis processing and all the all the data analysis and the machine learning modeling for brain imaging data and the brain signals, and that's back to Rutgers University. And after I graduated from Rutgers University, and I continued my brain research at University of Washington. And at that time, we continued do the research to decode brain signals into into meaningful intentions and actions. And also one of the study, we investigated the robotic arm. So we use brain signals to control robot arm. So that's one of the pioneer work in the field. So that's a basic brief introduction for my background. And currently, after I finish my postdoc study at University of Washington, I come to UT Arlington for my current position. I mainly do four research directions, and the core of my research is to develop data science, machine learning, and AI systems, and apply those technologies to different real-world problems. And there are four major directions I I mostly focused on. So it include medical imaging and the brain informatics. So that's still one of my major direction. And in addition, and I expanded more research after joined UTA, and I did research on computational life science. And here I built machine learning models for life science data, like the protein sequence data, DNA, RNA data, and small molecules data for drug discovery. And in addition, I also had a national federal funded project on smart energy. And here we built optimization and network modeling to smart grid and smart energy for the future AI-driven or data-driven energy market. And in recent years, I expand my research to agriculture-related applications. So here, a lot of machine learning, AI, and data analytics systems can be applied to a lot of agriculture problems. And we established a close collaboration with USDA. And there are a number of USDA-funded projects are ongoing at UTA currently. So today, I mostly focus on the brain imaging, brain data, neuroscience, neurotechnology, and that's our main focus. And so let's start the main topic for today's work. Okay, so our main topic today is neurotechnology. So in the beginning, and we wanted to let you know what's the neurotechnology, right? And the neurotechnology it refers to the technologies to record brain activity, to understand the brain, and visualize brain process, and control and repair brain functions. All those all the technologies related to those, we can call it like neurotechnology. Neurotechnology is all related to brain. And here we can categorize the neurotechnology into two major categories, invasive and non-invasive method. So for the non-invasive method, they do not require any surgery. And for example, here I showed on the right side, the EEG signal. It mirrors electrical signals using sensors placed on the scalp. And the second is the fNIRS, and it uses light to estimate changes in blood oxygen near the brain surface. And that's also pretty popular in addition to EEG. And the next one is the functional MRI. It uses a powerful magnetic to detect changes in blood flow and oxygen levels. And it can show which areas of the brain are more active and during a cognitive task. Right? So all those EEG, fNIRS, and the functional MRI, they are most common and popular non-invasive method to measure brain activity. And also on the other side, there are invasive technologies, and here I listed the three major ones. It includes like a ECOG electrodes. It's a electrode grid and placed on surface of the brain. And also the macro electrode array, MEA, that's actually a small pins array, and it's penetrate the neural into the it's or we call it penetrating neural depth probe, and yeah, we put it into the surface. And for the MAE, the probe is smaller, and also there is a bigger ones. People if you look at the literature, people may call it neural pixels, neural nexus, and the micro probes. So usually they have like a deeper, so they can penetrating deeper into the brain. and collect more levels of signals over there. And so those invasive brain sensors, they are closer to the source, so they can usually provide much cleaner and more detailed signals than those non-invasive ones like EEG, FNIRS, um, and the functional MRI. And the invasive ones are more clean and accurate. But on the other hand, you should pay attention that it involves the surgery, and it gives some medical risk, and it's a trade-off actually. And if you want more accurate and cleaner signal, and you may need a surgery. And if you want more convenient and easy to implement, and you may use like a non-invasive method. So yeah, that's basically the two categories of the neurotechnologies. And so now you have a big picture of what neurotechnologies people are using now, right? So invasive and non-invasive and invasive. And here in the past, many decades, right, brain is one of the hot topic that scientists are doing research on it, and also many foundations and also the government all over the world have been spent a lot of money, right, to study the brain and to develop neurotechnologies. So here we can ask one central question is that why neurotechnology research matters, right? Why neurotechnology are important. So this slides, I summarized 6 major reasons. And the first is that neurotechnology can enhance the brain-computer interface, and it can help people communicate or control external device, right, if they are disabled. And the second, it may help treat mental health conditions. So this is very common current days that many people they have mental problems, brain disorders, and neurotechnology can be the promising tools to treat mental health conditions. And the third, neurotechnology can support cognitive functions like attention, memory, and those cognitive enhancement, and the neurotechnology can help on that. On the fourth point, I want to see the neurotechnology can create more nature and immersive virtual reality experiences. And later, I will show you some examples and see it's for the gaming, for people play games, for people using VR, AR, and the neurotechnology can help on that side. The number 5, neurotechnology can also provide the neurofeedback. The neurofeedback can help people to monitor their performance and to optimize their performance. But for example, they are doing some training, they are doing some physical training or mental training, and neurofeedback are some measurable way to quantify and improve your performance. And the last, neuro rehabilitation is a very important point that you will see so many people as they develop neurotechnology. Their main target is to help people to recover their brain, to recover their body, injured body, or to make them let's see recover in a much faster pace. And all those 6 areas are important point that I want to mention. There may be more, but here we just give you a general picture and see why neurotechnologies are so important, right? So why they matter, and why we want to spend the money, to spend the effort to make the newer technology move forward and help people. And so here I want to start to show the newer technologies one by one, and when I introduce them, and you can get an idea that how those popular neural technologies are working. So first, I want to introduce is the brain-computer interface, and to understand how brain signals can produce useful actions, right? And the brain-computer interface can create a communication pathway between the brain and external device. And basically, the brain sensor record the brain activity, and then the system removes some noise, do the signal processing, and then look at useful patterns. And the computer algorithm, or you can see a machine learning or AI algorithm, will connect those patterns with some intended action, and such as like you moving a mouse cursor to the left and right, up and down. And finally, the device perform the action and give feedback to the user. So that somehow goes to a loop, right? So the sensor collects the signal, translate to the actions, and then it go back to do the action. And that workflow, and the BCA is the device that make that happen. And given this general concept, and we can see a number of new advances in this field. Actually, the brain-computer interface has been developed for like many years, like 30 or 40 years. But for long history, the field is developing pretty slow, or it's not that fast. And only in recent years, and there are some technology breakthroughs, and we can see more promising techniques. And one of the most significant one is Neuralink. The Neuralink is founded and by the Elon Musk, and the Neuralink is actually implanted device, and it's a wireless and implanted. And the basic idea is to place a small electronic device under the skull and connect it to very thin electrode thread in the brain. So this electrode record neural activity, and the device send the information to the computer. And the long-term goal is to help people with serious neurological conditions communicate with others and control some digital device, or either control some robot arms, right? So the Neuralink is a very significant advances in recent years. So let's look at how the Neuralink is implanted into the brain. And here is a short video. You can have a look.
Neuralink starts with a surgeon drilling a hole in your head about the size of a coin. Then a robotic arm carefully inserts the ultra-thin, flexible threads into your brain. These threads are finer than a strand of hair and are equipped with electrodes that directly interact with the cells in your brain. This implant is capable of interpreting your thoughts and applying them to real-life actions.
Yeah, it's really, interesting. And the Neuralink electrodes are extremely small and flexible. So it's almost not possible that a doctor place it inside into your brain by hand manually. And a specialized surgical robot is designed to insert the Neuralink sensors into the brain surface accurately. And this video show the implementation process, and the whole process requires like the robot and the medical procedures all work properly and to make it work. So it's actually a very sophisticated and a very carefully designed procedure to do that.
Neuralink.
And here is another demonstration I would like to show you. And for most of the neural technologies, and they will do the animal studies first, and the same thing for the Neuralink. And in the very beginning, and they actually showed if this idea, the concept, Neuralink concept works, and they implant the Neuralink into the brain of a monkey, and this monkey named Pager. So let's see how it works. So basically, this monkey implanted with the Neuralink, and it play a computer game called Pong. So at first, the pager used a joystick. Well, the system wirelessly record his neural activity and learn the monkey's brain pattern signals and associate with his intention of like moving up and down and right and left. So it's like a directional intention. So the joystick is then removed, and the pager control the paddle simply by thinking about the movement, right? If the monkey think, oh, I want to move this object on the screen up, down, left, right, and the Neuralink try to decode that signal, right? And the experiment was very successful, and that gives people confidence to further develop this technology. So let's look at how it works.
Your wireless system in real time chronicles thousands of notes. Using these data, we calibrate the decoder by mathematically modeling the relationship between patterns of neural activity and the different joystick movements they produce. One of the things the Neuralinks allow Pager to do is to play his favorite video game, Pong. To control his paddle on the right side of the screen, Pager simply thinks about moving his hand up or down. We've removed the joystick altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with the Neuralink.
Yeah, you see, it's interesting, and it's pretty accurately after some time of training, and the monkey learned the mind control, and the monkey used the Neuralink to control a ball on the screen very accurately. That's pretty amazing. So I never imagined it can be that effective, but actually it happened. So after the animal studies, actually in the more recent year, and scientists and researcher also move forward from animal studies to human trials. And the animal study, right, demonstrate the effectiveness and demonstrate the concept is working. But our ultimate goal or the neuron technology is trying to help people. So this is news from 2026 or several months ago. And this is the Brad Smith, and he is a Neuralink clinical trial participant. So he has ALS. So because of this disease, and he cannot speak or move most of his body. So that's a nightmare for him. And the implanted Neuralink record his brain signals and translate that into his intended movement, and also allows him to control a computer, and he can select or type a word by thinking, and the AI system turns those words into a synthetic version of his original voice. So he basically uses his mind to type on a computer, and the computer read his words out. And this Neuralink actually on human trials create a new communication pathway that help people, to disabled people to communicate with family members and try to resume normal life. Right. So this is very impressive, and this is pretty most recent happened this year, and it's reported on the news. The next I want to showcase is the brain-computer interface combined with the AR, augmented reality or virtual reality, and that's also another direction that many people doing research on that, and also many companies they devoted the funding and the effort to make that direction move forward. So what this concept is basically try to integrate the brain-computer interface with like AR and VR. So in this scenario, and they try to combine, for example, many of the case they use the portable EEG sensors. So using the EEG sensors, they mirror the brain activity patterns related to people's attention, intention, or response to some event in a virtual environment, for example, in a gaming environment. And because the system is non-invasive and it's pretty just like you play a game, right? You put the headset on your head and then it start working. But here I would also note that the scalp EEG is not like an invasive brain signals, and it's much noisier and it's pretty weak. And we have to do heavy signal processing and the machine learning to decode the scalp EEG signals. So there are a lot of effort on that. But this type of technology, neurotechnology, is pretty important to support the next generation of games training or accessibility or new ways to for people to interact with digital content, right? Virtual reality and augmented reality, and with the technology moving forward, and with the people can decode scalp EEG better, I think this direction is also very promising. So let's look at a video to show how the BCI brain computer interface integrated with the AR VR. Yeah. So yeah, just here it shows several examples that the integration of BCI into the VR AR make the virtual environment more natural and immersive. But again, the non-invasive brain signals still not that accurate. So it can affected by the hair movement, blinking, and the facial muscles. So it's still in the early stage. So it's not still perfect for people to feel fancy. But I would say it's definitely one of the future directions that to integrate your brain signals into the gaming, into the virtual environment, and that definitely one of the future. The next I want to introduce is the neural prosthesis. And so for this one is that, earlier we showed you that the BCA, the brain computer interface, and they control digital environment. And here, let's move from the virtual object to physical assistive devices. So neural prosthesis is such a device that can, let you control a robot arm and take actions in real time by your mind control. So that's the concept. So imagine that a person intend to grasp a cup, and the brain sensors record the brain signals of that intention, and then AI model translate the signal into the movement for the robot arm, and the robot arm so go ahead to pick up the cup, and the system um, is this system actually is very important, in particular for people who cannot use their hand, and the people who disabled and they have no arms, for example, and they if this technology happen, and they can operate and do daily work like normal people. So in this field, the brain gained is one of the most well-known example. And so for this neuroprosthetic research system, they showed a very impressive demo that a person who is paralyzed and use neurosignal to control a robot arm to drink water. And this is very impressive. And let's look at how the brain
Simply by
state
thinking about the
works.
movement of their own paralyzed hand. And they did that using the investigational brain-gate neural interface system. So they thought about using their own arm and hand as if they were reaching out themselves with their own limb, and the robotic arm moved much the way their own arm would have moved. One of the long-standing questions, not only in neuroscience, but in neurorehabilitation, is whether the cells in the motor cortex and other parts of the brain, whether they continue to function the same way years after that original injury. It is possible for people to use their thoughts to control devices, either a computer or a robotic arm. The way that happens is that we implant a tiny sensor, just about the size of a baby aspirin, just into the surface of the brain, and that sensor pick up the electrical impulses from a bunch of neurons. And each of those neurons are like radio broadcast towers putting out impulses. And when they get to the outside, a computer translator converts the pattern of pulses into something that is a command. She reached out with the robotic arm. She thought about the use of her own hand. She picked up that thermos of coffee, brought it close to her, tilted it towards herself, and sipped coffee from a straw. And that was the first time in nearly 15 years that she had picked up anything and been able to drink from it solely of her own volition. There was a moment of true joy, true happiness. I mean, it was beyond the fact that it was an accomplishment. I think an important advance in the entire field of brain-computer interfaces, that it was really a moment where we helped somebody do something that they had wished to do for many years.
Yeah, this is a really impressive example that the brain gate system, they translate the brain signal right into the movement of the robot arm, and also it's successful. Right? It successfully take the water cup. Right? This as it's coffee, and then let the person drink the coffee. So that's super impressive, and so
Simply, I think.
So in addition to that, there are also more advanced, more advanced technologies developed. And another very impressive example is the DACA arm. So the brain gate demonstrated that, okay, how the neural signals can control the robot arm. And here, the DACA arm is actually make one step forward. And is that our natural hand can feel and tell us whether an object is soft, is hard, or how tightly we are holding it, and whether it's starting to sleep. And the DACA arm is example that not only controls the movement, and it also try to let people feel like our natural hand. So in this system, the DACA system, they have a sensor installed. So in this sensor can detect the contact and the pressure and feed back those pressure and the contact signal back to the human brain. And the person can also feel, okay, it's soft, it's hard, and how much force you use. So this information can be very important because otherwise, you still have a numb arm, right? So this DACA arm is trying to make two-way communication and make it try to close to like our natural hand with feeling. So that's actually the most recent advance, and I think that's really cool. And I hope they can make more advances, and then many people, disabled people, may use this technology and then make them like our normal people, right? We have a natural hand, so that's can be super promising. And then let's look at the example or demo for this DACA hand.
Hold this and I'm gonna like this. Turn this off. Oh wow, this is so nice. You sure you have to take this back?
I think that's why Dr. Dave sent me.
You knew they was a human being to get this away from you.
Yeah.
But you look at this. Look at this, great.
Yeah.
Now, of course, being able to cut it, right?
Yeah, you see the the person look at this video, and the person hold a carrot securely with the DACA arm, and peeling the carrot with the other hand. And although this action looks so simple to everyone, and it's actually requires careful control of the grip force, the waist position, and stability, and the coordination between the both arms. Right? It's simple for us, but actually it's not simple in the engineering and the science. And all the parts need to work seamlessly together. And this advanced prosthetic arm, um, you know, is really impressive, and it also provides the force needed. You hold the object and without like crushing it or dropping it, right? So this is one of the most advanced one, and those practical tasks are important, and our real goal is to help people perform daily activities more independently, and DACA arm is definitely one of the example I think, oh, that's somehow close to our life, and I hope they can make the product soon so it can benefit people. So in addition, earlier we only talked the robot arm, and there are also other mind control devices, and one of the notable one is the mind controlled wheelchair, and the BCI can support the disabled people for their mobility, and the mind controlled wheelchair, right, they use the EEG tap to guide the person think about the direction, right? To move our left, right, and the control the wheelchair, right, move around an obstacle without using any joystick, right? This is very important for people that if people cannot use their hand to control the wheelchair, and still they can move around and without other people's help, right? So let's look at the video and see how it works. You see, the person successfully control the wheelchair, right, moving from one place to the other, and without using hand, right? So this is very useful to provide people with greater mobility for the person who cannot reliably control the wheelchair with their hand. Right? That's very excellent application in the technology in this case. And the next, I also wanted to introduce everyone is a brain controlled exoskeleton. That's actually only happened in most recent years, and the brain controlled exoskeleton has been studied in multiple labs. And here I show you one of the most successful example. Developed the brain controlled exoskeleton system to help paralyzed people stand and walk, and also that's super impressive. Let's have a look how it works. Yeah, you see this brain controlled exoskeleton can be very useful for severely disabled people. Usually they cannot walk; they only stay on their back. But for brain controlled skeleton, make them just walking and stand walking like us, and so the brain BCI, mm, the brain computer interface detected the person's intended movement and translate the signal right into the exoskeleton, right? So here it's not only robot arm, it's the entire exoskeleton system. It's a more complicated system than only robot arm. And a lot of people stand and move forward. And this is a very encouraging example of how neurotechnology may restore movement for disabled people. And also, it's another important example to show how neurotechnology can potentially help people, right, in our daily life. Then, in addition to those brain-computer interface, and another neurotechnology direction I want to introduce to everyone is the neural stimulation or neural modulation. So far, we have been showed you the examples that people use brain signals to control external device. And the neurotechnology can also work in the opposite direction by sending carefully managed and control the signals and stimulation back to the brain, back to your nervous system to change its activity. So the neural modulation is in that way. So we give signals to the brain and let it works better, improves, or treats some disorders. So in this technology, we usually call it neural modulation, and you can think of it's like a pace marker for the neural circuit, right? And here I summarize the four major invasive approaches, and they are like the motor cortex stimulation, deep brain stimulation, and the vagus nerve stimulation, and the spinal cord stimulation. And those are important technologies are developing in different places. And the deep brain stimulation can reduce symptoms for like the Parkinson disease and some other movement disorders. And vagus nerve stimulation is used in some studies for drug resistance epilepsy and some depression. And spinal cord stimulation can relieve certain types of chronic pain. And the motor contact stimulation is studied for like the severe neuropathic pain and rehabilitation. So those are technologies they are used in different in different applications in to treat the brain problems, mental problems, brain disorders, and they all showed a lot of promising results in different studies. And also there are a lot of papers published for those invasive neural modulation method. And in addition to the invasive method, there are also non-invasive one, right? And for the invasive method, people need to do the surgery. Not, I would believe that most of people they don't want to do the brain surgery. And if some non-invasive method can work, we probably like to do that. And so on the other side, the non-invasive neuromodulation method have also been widely researched. And here I also summarize the four main techniques, right? They include like a TES, TMS, and the TUS and the PBM. Those are four major non-invasive neuromodulation methods. And those methods have been studied, right, to treat the neurological disorders like the epilepsy, Parkinson disease, Alzheimer's disease, and depression, and more. So, and also they show pretty good result in a lot of studies. So, and I think that although many of them still in the early stage, but I would hold promising for them. And here, one of the most widely explored non-invasive method is the TDCS. So TDCS is maybe one of the most studied non-invasive method, including me, and I have a collaborator, and she did the TDCS studies in the UTA bioengineering department. So for this technology, it delivers a weak direct current through electrodes on scalp to modulate activity in target brain regions. So a lot of studies suggested that TDCS may improve like attention, concentration, working memory, learning, and other cognitive functions. And the researchers also exploring its potential treatment for depression, sleep problems, and stress regulation, stroke rehabilitation. Different kind of applications. So all those brain disorders, neurological disorders, people have some research studies to say if those neuromodulation technologies can help, and it's indeed show very good result in many of the studies and the papers. And here just to give you a quick introduction for the technology, and if you are interested, or you probably can explore more in the technology. One of the I think the most studied one is like the cognitive enhancement. So people showed the cognitive enhancement using the TDCS technology. So some of the we already see some commercial product that they're using TDCS to improve brain functions, cognitive functions. So here we have introduced I think most of the advances in neurotechnologies, right, including like a different kind of brain-computer interfaces, invasive ones, non-invasive ones, and also we introduced different neuromodulation method, also including invasive and the non-invasive ones. So given the development of neurotechnology, right, it has been developed very fast in recent years. A lot of new neurotechnologies have emerged. And here I just list some of them, right? Those are still in very early stage, but they are emerging technologies that may lead to breakthrough in the near future. So the first one is the high density neural probes, or people call it neural pixels. And it's studied in a few labs, that it's capable of recording siren of neurons across multiple brain regions and with high spatial temporal resolution. So the current neural probes is still not high density. And if we can achieve high density, so we can collect more precisely for the brain signals, and then we can decode more subtle patterns easier. And also the wireless and the minimally invasive neural plant, it's called like neural dust. And this one, you can consider it's maybe the next generation of Neuralink. And for neural dust, it's much smaller, and it's a minimally invasive solution to collect the brain signals, right? So you can imagine if the Neuralink, even the Neuralink is only a size of a coin, but it's still, not super small. The neural dust will be much smaller, but still it can collect massive brain signals. And optogenetics, this is also a emerging direction that some researchers started to do that research. It basically uses light to control neurons that have been genetically modified to express light-sensitive ion channels. Right? It provides precise control over specific brain circuits, and potentially can treat neurological disorders and some mental conditions. And also, the AI is developing super fast, and the AI can play a more important role to decode neural signals more accurately, effectively, and can capture personalized patterns and make more effective neuromodulation, neurostimulation therapies to people. And make the signal adaptive and make the brain computer interface learn to each person much faster and much accurate, right? So AI can play a more role in neurotechnologies. And also there are neural organoids and brain on a chip models, but this is even like a new concept that the scientists try to create lab-grown human brain tissue and make a brain on a chip models to replicate the brain behaviors on a microchip. So if people make this happen, and then people can study brain functions and the neural functions without invasive experiment on humans, right? So you can just do a lot of studies on those lab-grown human brain tissues, right? Instead of you implement some sensors inside of a human brain, right? That can be a huge breakthrough. So each direction is promising, and we hope to see more neurotechnology breakthroughs in the near future. And it can be more and more important to our daily life if more product come on the market. Okay, this is the end of the talk, and I hope you learned something about the neurotechnology today. It's an exciting field that neuroscience, engineering, medicine, and AI come together. And I would be happy to answer any of your questions. And also we can discuss your ideas.
Thank you, Dr. Wang, for your inspiring talk. We have learned a lot about brain-computer interfaces, neuroprosthetics, brain stimulation, and the future possibilities of neurotechnology. We will now move on to our Q&A session. Since our audience is joining us online, students can submit their questions through the chat. We have already received several excellent questions, so let's take a look at them one by one. Here's our first question. Can a brain-computer interface actually read our minds?
Yeah, actually, it's not in the science fiction sense. It's not like that fancy as you think. Brain-computer interface can record patterns of brain activity, and AI algorithms learn to connect certain patterns with specific brain intentions. For example, you moving a cursor or you type a letter, it's much better at decoding a particular task than knowing everything a person is thinking. So today's BCI, brain computer interface, is more like a highly trained translator, and it learn some particular patterns and translate to particular command. But it's definitely not a mind reading machine, and it's not that powerful. It's still far from that point.
Thank you, Dr. Wang. That explanation helps us understand the difference between decoding a specific brain signal and actually reading someone's thoughts. Now let's move on to our second question. How can neurotechnology help someone who is paralyzed?
Yeah, that's a great question. Even a person cannot move, the brain may still produce the signals related to the movement. Right? A BCI, brain-computer interface, can detect these signals and translate signals into command for a computer cursor, robotic arm, wheelchair, or exoskeleton. So some brain systems can also stimulate nerves or muscles to help restore movement for rehabilitation. So these neurotechnologies are very promising, but still in the early and developing stage. So they require training, personalization, and careful calibration and clinical testing for each person. And mostly it's in a research lab and in very small clinical trials, but still not widely applied yet. And but I see the field is developing very fast. Hopefully, in the near future, we will see the neurotechnology can help paralyzed people in their daily life and with like broad applications worldwide. So that probably in the near future, and it's definitely developing in that direction.
It's exciting to see how this technology may help paralyzed people control computers, robotic arms, wheelchairs, and even exoskeletons. Our third question is, why would someone need a brain implant if we can already measure brain signals with a wearable headset?
Oh yeah, a wearable brain signal headset is very affordable and widely used or in research and labs, and also there are commercial product that doing wearable brain headset. So the problem for the wearable headset is that the signals must travel through the skull, and the neural signals are pretty weak and also very noisy compared to the implanted one. So an implanted device can record much cleaner and more detailed signals because it's closer to the neurons. And the wearable ones, it's usually a much more noisier and it's harder to do more precise control, and also it's it's less accurate to do some of the clinical and medical treatment. So yeah, wearable devices still cannot replace the implanted brain signal sensors and device. But on the other side, implants require surgery and have concerns about like infection, long-term safety, and durability. So the best choice depends on your need, the medical need, and whether the potential benefit outweigh the risk. Right. For example, if people like they are paralyzed and the implanted device may be more accurate for them to control robotic arm, wheelchairs. And so they may consider that's more important than the potential durability or safety issues. So yeah, this is still a developing topic, and both wearable and implanted neural technologies are developing in parallel.
Thank you. So both invasive and non-invasive technologies have their own advantages and limitations, and the best choice depends on the particular application. Let's look at our fourth question. Could neurotechnology make students smarter or help us learn faster?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. There is actually no safe magic function that neurotechnology can make anyone smarter, learn faster. And currently, we can see the closely related technology like brain stimulation, neurofeedback technologies. Those have proved to be very useful to improve brain functions under some conditions, such as reduce pain, relieve stress, improve sleep, and treat brain disorders. There are different applications on that, but the effects are usually limited and vary largely from person to person. So this is still in the research stage, and especially important for our young people because your brain is still developing, and the neurotechnology is still somehow in their early stage, right, to do this. And for now, sleep, exercise, curiosity, and consistent practice are much safer and much more effective to learn, to improve learning, and also help your brain development.
Thank you for clarifying that. It's important to understand both the possibilities and the current limitations of these emerging technologies. And now we have one final question. If brain devices collect our neural data, who should own that information, and how can we protect our privacy?
Yeah, that's a very important question, actually. So I believe people should control their own brain data, and the neural data should potentially could potentially reveal information about a person's health, attention, emotional response, and it's the data is highly sensitive. And currently, the companies and the researchers they collect data for research and the technology development, and they have very strict regulations to protect the data, and also generally allow users to delete their data if they want. So the privacy protection is always a very important part in neurotechnology development. And also the research and the government regulations impose a lot of rules here. So yeah, this is a very important part. And yeah, so we definitely put the privacy on top when we do any research and the technology development.
Thank you, Dr. Wang. That is an important reminder that the development of neurotechnology must go hand in hand with privacy protection, ethical standards, and responsible use. We have no more questions. Hope everyone learned more about neuroscience, artificial intelligence, engineering, and the exciting future of neurotechnology. On behalf of the ACAES USA Global Youth Leadership Summer Camp, I would like to thank Dr. Shoyi Wang again for sharing his research, knowledge, and his insights with us. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you for your time. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.